Hey, what's up guys? Kane here with XBLA fans, and we'll be giving you a quick taste of Planet of the Apes Last Frontier. This game is from the Imaginarium. It is out now on Xbox One for $19.99. I'm just going to tell you right off the bat that this game is kind of a story-driven, almost FMV-like experience. There's a very, very little player interaction beyond just choosing dialogue choices. And when I say choosing dialogue choices, I very much mean, do you like what one person said or do you like what the other person said? You just kind of pick who you agree with in a specific instance. So just to set the scene here, I've skipped the prologue. This is chapter 1. This gives you a good experience of pretty much the gist of the game. So you've got two different things going on. You've got the apes and you've got the people. You're going to play as both. I think it's going to alternate between each basically for the story. And you're going to kind of continue to see the perspectives of everybody. Now, just to set the scene, we have 3 brothers here, as well as some other apes. Their dad is kind of the leader. He's up on top of the mountain, but the mountain does not have much food. The apes are starving. They're really hungry. They were told to look for food on the mountain, but they decided to come down here anyway. And instead of doing that, they're now putting themselves at risk to now look for food where the humans are. So you kind of have a little bit of push and pull here. So for example, Juno, he's the character on the far right, the smallest of the apes. And he's the one who keeps trying to say, Father says we should do this. And then you've got the other one who is kind of more of the older brother leader right now. And he's very much just trying to set out and do his own thing. And you're going to be the guy stuck in the middle, kind of deciding, well, what do we do? And that's kind of where you are right now as far as the apes. This is, again, very, very early in the game. This is chapter 1, the absolute start of the game. There is a prologue that kind of, just walks you through everything real quick and kind of sets the scene. But I've already skipped through that. Just wanted to let you guys kind of see a little bit more of what's going on than that. So this is pretty spoiler free. You're not really going to miss out on anything by watching this. But I just want to get to where we're going to be able to talk about kind of the mechanics of the game a little bit. So there's this growing conflict, and you're going to really have to kind of figure out what's going on. At the end of the chapters, it's going to do that kind of telltale thing where it recaps your choices. And it's going to show how your choices affected basically the different relationships you have. In general, the apes are gonna just kind of speak in those grunts and kind of sign language. Every once in a while they'll talk. The humans obviously have full voice acting, and you kind of get to see these two just kind of experiences kind of collide a little bit, because each decision you're making is going to affect both of them a little bit in some ways. So like here they had the decision to kind of just try to get this food, and obviously he's not too happy about that. So you're going to continue to kind of just make these choices. This is kind of how the game works in a sense. The pacing at times feels a little funky and disjointed. Every once in a while it feels a little bit too much like an FMV game and not as fluid as it could be. But for the most part, they do a fairly good job. You don't always have the ability to pick the choice that you'd want per se, because it gives you two options, but sometimes you wish you could do something different. However, there is going to be the option throughout the game to be able to kind of make decisions to kind of break apart from certain character relationships and go certain directions if you'd like to. So you're able to branch the game off pretty strong from what I've been told. I've only played the first chapter, so I didn't want to, know too much because I don't want to spoil it for you guys, but I did talk to Wild Boy. He's doing the review for XBLA fans, and he's played through the entire game already. So you'll definitely get some kind of conflict and some conflict resolution as well as you play the game, and you get some different experiences here. And they've done a good job, for the most part, at making these characters feel real and giving them kind of a really interesting kind of vibe. Because I know for me at least, I'm actually really interested in particular with the struggle of the apes. I'm finding this pretty interesting. I'm not normally a huge Planet of the Apes guy. I've seen some of the movies, but not all of them. And I didn't really feel like I was left out, you know, at all because of that. You know, the game kind of just makes it feel like it could be its own kind of standalone story in a sense. So they've done a good job with that. As we kind of, you know, approach this, you're going to get to see a little bit more of what I consider the interactive gameplay. But even then, it's more or less just the option to make a choice or not make a choice. And that'll be something like, do you want to throw a rock? Do you not want to throw a rock? Do you want to shoot? Do you not want to shoot? So that's kind of where you're going to put yourself. And you're going to be able to, you know, kind of decide whether or not you want a peaceful kind of experience, you know, where these two are kind of just precipitously, you know, surviving alongside each other. Or you can probably set it up for a little bit more of a gory outcome. And the game's got some interesting elements, especially with when we get to the people. You definitely can kind of experience and see why there's so much tension with them. Right here, we're going to talk about the interactive element. I don't know if you can read that too clearly, but what it says is basically that you can choose to act or not act. It's going to give you this little bit of time to pick. I decided to shoot because I did not want my guys to get caught for whatever reason. I like the apes a lot more than the people. I've probably set this game up to where we're going to end up killing each other, but at the end of the day, I got to protect my ape dudes. So, after that bloody kind of fight there, we've already killed one human. The other one's escaping. Unfortunately, he's going to be able to tell about us. We're going to decide what we want to do. We're not going to tell Father. We're not going to let him know about this. Hey, we're going to yell at Tola, because Tola's the one who wanted to come down here. So, there's a good bit of options the way you can do things. The game branches pretty well from what I've seen so far. It's definitely one of those kind of story-driven experiences, though, where you're going to have to be in the mood for, you know, kind of an FMV, you know, movie-like experience. It's not even as interactive, per se, as like a Telltale game, because in Telltale games, typically, you do walk around a little bit. There may be some puzzle mechanics, some other things. This is very much going to be a lot more linear, and while there may be different paths, it's still pretty linear how you get from, you know, where you start to where you get to those different branching paths. So now we're going to jump from the apes and we're going to go to the humans. And you get to kind of see what's going on in their little world. They're having kind of the same problems the apes are when you actually think about it. There's not that much food. Medicine's kind of hard to find. They're not doing too well, and it's a fairly harsh winter coming up. So they're kind of trying to prep for that.
What the hell happened?
So in the human world, the leader has more or less died. The prologue actually starts with him getting buried, and you kind of take on the role of Jess. She's gonna kind of take over as the new leader. She was his wife, and you've got that other guy right next to her with the hat, Rainey. He's gonna kind of be the guy kind of trying to usurp the power there and kind of trying to influence Jess to go specific ways. Very often, Maria is the complete opposite. So again, you have another one of those kind of, if you kind of go toward one of those characters, it's going to be hard to keep the relationship with both. And I'm curious to see how that's going to set up as the game progresses. You also need to manage the relationship with your son, as well as another character in the game that I don't think is in this scene.
You say you saw an ape?
Yeah, no.
So it gets kind of interesting up in here.
Apes.
And again, you've got the exact same kind of decisions, you know, just lets you decide kind of how you want to react to the situations. It's very much kind of how this game is set up.
I told you.
But thank you guys so much for checking out this video. I really appreciate you guys hanging out, checking this out. Please do like and subscribe. You guys have no idea how much it helps us. If you guys have any questions about this game or any questions about any other Idea at Xbox games, feel free to let me know. I'm more than happy to kind of chat with you guys about whatever I can. More than happy to help. We love covering these kind of games, and the only reason we can do it is because you guys watch and share it. So it helps us a ton, guys. Thanks again, and let's just wrap this up because we just finished the chapter. I'm going to show you guys the just kind of how the end chapter screen works, and then we're good to go. The end chapter screen is kind of cool in my opinion because it shows you how you affected each relationship with each character, and it shows, okay, you went down, you know, it went up, and you know, it kind of allows you to kind of see how your relationship is with everyone. Willits was the character that I don't think was in that scene. This is going to show you Tola, you know, Juno. Clarence was in the prologue as well as Oka, and Khan was also in the prologue. Those are characters that you kind of got to, you know, chat with there. But thank you guys so much, and later.